Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and what a delight to have with us today Rob Chambers. He's the National Field Director for the American Family Association, better known as AFA Action, and we want to talk to him about Christians voting and how important this election cycle really means to the future of America, and in particular, freedom of religion. So, Rob, good to see you. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, doing great. Thanks, Perry.
Yeah, good to see you. Well, I know you guys are really terrific in what you do, and I'm glad to hear you putting out the voter's guide. But how important is for the evangelical vote this go around?
Well, as always, it's always important, no matter in any election. It's always important, Perry, for Christians to get out to vote, vote their values, beliefs, and convictions. And beyond that, Perry, it's important for them to be informed, and that's why we have come out with the 2016 voter guide.
All right, so tell us about it, because it's changing. I mean, we just heard a little while ago that Rand Paul's out, so what are you guys going to do here?
Well, we're staying the course. Our purpose and mission is to inform Christians so they can be informed voters when they go to the primary elections. One thing that's incredibly important, and what I think a lot of people don't understand, Perry, is that the voter turnout in the primary is typically pretty low. As we saw in Iowa in 2012, the voter turnout was about 6.5%. Although this past vote, it was the record-setting number for Republicans. I don't think the Democrats have released their numbers yet, but we've seen an increase in the voter turnout, and so we just want people to be as informed as they possibly can, and to vote their values, beliefs, and convictions. And they can get that voter guide if they go to afaaction.net, and they can follow us on Facebook at AFA Action and Twitter at the same address at AFA Action.
All right, are you seeing this? I mean, was Iowa any kind of an indication, Rob, that the Christians are showing up?
I believe it is. I believe it is, Perry. I think Christians are beginning to, with the advent of more information available to voters, they are able to see what is going on within the electorate, and they are, I think, with the top tier candidates that we see in the poll coming out of, or the election coming out of Iowa. I think it's indicative of the tenor of the people, the angst that the people are having. They won't change. And so Christians understand that fundamentally. They understand the fundamental problem related to religious liberty. And if you don't have religious liberty in America, then what do you have?
No question about that. What kind of issues will the guide be covering, Rob?
Well, voter guides, they will cover a broad range of issues, of course, life, marriage, but also guns, Common Core, health care, what type of judicial interpretation of the Constitution that a presidential candidate would think would be important. Also, what type of laws would a president look to as far as shaping laws here in the United States? Would they look to foreign courts, or would they strictly look to the U.S. Constitution? So it's a broad range of issues, and again, they can go to afaaction.net and get the voter guide there, and put in their information and get the whole host of information there available for them. Yeah,
I can't say enough what AFA does. This is an outstanding organization. So go to afaaction.net and get this voter's guide and use it as a guide. Especially when a lot of these candidates are on the stump, you can compare their rhetoric to their voting record and other things. So it's a wonderful tool to have. You know, Rob, we have the three scenario working here in Oregon, and I'm sure you're seeing it nationwide. You have Christians that are registered but don't vote. You have Christians who are eligible but not registered, and then you have Christians who are eligible and not registered and won't vote. If you add those numbers up, no matter how you twist it, if Christians who are eligible will vote, it can sway just about any election in the country.
That's right. As I understand it, if all Christians were to turn out to vote, that would be about 5 million households, Perry. So that's a significant number of people. As you correctly pointed out, about 50% of Christians are registered to vote, and of those 50%, only half of them turn out to vote. And of that 25%, they are uninformed voters. They show up to the ballot box and they're uninformed, hence the significance of the voter guide, which is a nonpartisan guide, and it ranks candidates from very liberal to very conservative and everywhere in between. So that's why it's so fundamentally important to turn out in the primary and to vote your values, beliefs, and convictions.
You know, it's an interesting cycle, Rob, because look at all the candidates that have strong faith. Of course, you got Cruz, you got Rubio, you got Carson. I guess, you know, you could throw a bunch of others in there, but we have a fairly significant pronounced group of candidates that are strong in their faith.
Well, that is true. With what people are saying and what they are doing, you know, you have to look at that. And I think life is one of those strong indicators of how people view life. And that's one of the fundamental principles of America is the liberty of life, freedom. And so I think that's a real litmus test for where perhaps maybe where Christians ought to look as when they consider a candidate.
Okay. Well, Rob, again, I want to say to you and your team, thank you for what all of you do there at AFA and at AFA Action. We have Mickey on quite a bit. She's terrific. And absolutely, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your service. So again, this is available now, afaaction.net, afaaction.net. Go there. And you just may want to go to afa.net and take a look at the overall ministry of AFA. They are terrific. They do a wonderful job. Thanks, Rob. Let's stay in touch, buddy.
Thanks, Barry. Thank you very much.
Good to see you. We'll be right back.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at thedove.us.